So Miyabi, they changed the way that Miyabi works, right? Before, Miyabi's additional ability required an anomaly or a Section 6 character. Now he's going to require a support or a Section 6 character, right? And then the leaker goes by and says, Astra Yao, is that you? Astra Yao, again, is that singer that is in all the billboards and is he like the one that has the angel wings. I feel like that's a good change, actually, right? Because it allows Miyabi to work with more characters, right? Don't get me wrong. I would have loved if it was just anomaly there. Because, for example, okay, if I wanted to use prior to this, prior to this, since it was anomaly or section 6, I could have, for example, I could have used Miyabi, Bernice, and Lighter, correct? Now, if I use Miyabi, Bernice, and Lighter, I don't get Miyabi's buff, right? So that either forces me to do Miyabi, one anomaly and one support, so no Lighter in the role. Or if you want to use Lighter and Miyabi, you're going to have to use Yanagi, right? Or Harumasa in that case, but probably Yanagi. But if you do use Yanagi with Miyabi, then Lighter doesn't really give out the full utility that he can, right? So the idea of combining Miyabi with Lighter is kind of dead now, unfortunately, right? Unless you want to do, for example, Miyabi, Lighter, and a support. But then, why, right? At that point, you would run what? Miyabi, Lighter, and Lucy? But then what's his fire buff for? Just for himself and Lucy? Not really that good, right? So I feel like this is killing the only utility the Lighter had. A specific utility the Lighter had, right? Lighter is still a great character to pull if you don't have Colada or you don't have Lycan. Then Lighter is still pretty fucking good because it's a replacement for both. But I would argue that I was really thinking that Lighter would have been a specific character to be played with Miyabi and Bernice. And right now, you can't, right? Because if you do that, you're going to fuck up the team, right? Unless you're just thinking of using, again, Miyabi, Lighter, and Lucy, right? Which is kind of fucked up, in my opinion, right? I guess the only real utility for Lighter is now dead, right? And now if you consider that Miyabi needs a support or a Section 6 character, you're basically going to use Miyabi Yanagi and someone else, right? Or Miyabi Harumasa and someone else, right? Because then both of them are Section 6, both of them have their buffs, and then you can just use whatever character you want on the third slot. Or you're going to have to use Miyabi, a support, and then whatever the fuck you want. Could be a stunner, right? But then you're basically just doing hyper carry Miyabi, right? So sure, this makes it easier for you to use Miyabi as a hyper carry. Yes, it does. But it also kills the possibility of using Lighter as your go-to for the specific Miyabi Bernice Disorder team, which is kind of weird, right? Thanks God, it's weird to have Lighter buff and ice damage and not making him able to pair with an ice character. He's able to pair with an ice attacker. He's not able to pair with Miyabi, though. But to be fair, Miyabi's a nice anomaly, right? Sokaku, yeah, sure. You could use Sokaku, Miyabi, and then you can use whatever the fuck you want. Too. That's true. I always forget about poor Sokaku. My bad. But it's still the same problem, right? You're either going to do Miyabi Hyper Carry or Miyabi Disorder, right? Same thing. The idea of using a stunner here is only going to happen if you use a support too, right? So like the idea of running, for example, Miyabi Defender and a stunner canceled, right? I mean, I still don't know if I kind of like it, but I think it puts Lighter in a much more weird spot now, right? I do kind of like the change, but I just feel like if Lighter was already weird, I'm not saying the character is bad, But if he already had like a real limited use case, unless it's just replacing Collate or Lycan, right? That's obvious. But like besides him replacing those stunners, I feel like he just lost the only team that he would be a premier choice, right? That he would be a premium choice, and now that doesn't exist anymore, which is really weird. Whatever. Let's see whatever the hell they're gonna cook. Maybe they're gonna change this again. Who the fuck knows, right? Well, other things that we have are Miyabi 1.3 changes, right? The full numbers in the translation database for anyone curious. Harumasa will be added later, and I'll ping for that time. So, basic attack Frost Moon, which is a hold basic attack, is now properly considered a basic skill plus basic attack damage, which is interesting. Level 1 and 2 had their damage increased, and now level 3 Frost Moons have their anomaly buildup halved, which is crazy. The ultimate now grants 3 stacks instead of 2, which is great. And then also grants 30% ice damage for 15 seconds. So it is trying to incentivize you to use Miyabi's ultimate even more, especially now that they removed half of the only buildup of her hold basic attack, right? Her core passive changed a little bit, right? The crit rate to build-up conversion changed from 60% crit rate, max 60, to 90% of crit rate, to a max of 72 anomaly build-up, right? So you were going to want to give her 90% crit rate. Not 90% crit rate, sorry. You're going to want to give her as much crit rate as possible, right? So she gets the most amount of anomaly build-up, especially now the scaling is 90% of your crit rate, right? So since the translation of crit rate to build up increased, you're going to be even more incentivized to build up crit rate on her, right? And the additional ability, we already talked about it, right? The change of anomaly faction to support faction, which is interesting to say the least. Interesting. I wonder what the fuck they're cooking here. Other changes that we got for Miyabi is that her basic anomaly proficiency got increased as hell, right? Plus 30 AP is a lot. And the core upgrade stats also changed from plus 36 anomaly mastery to 72 plus anomaly proficiency, right? So she is going to naturally have a shit ton of anomaly proficiency. What this feels to me is that they are kind of forcing our hands to pick the sixth disc. It's probably AM, right? Probably forcing us to use Anomaly Mastery as her last discs, right? Because they're lowering a lot of her AM, right? They already lowered the buildup of her basic attack too. So either they're trying to change her to a much more of a hybrid than she already was before, right? Between crit and anomaly, or they're just trying to force our hand in how we're gonna build her, right? I'm not sure whether to update the sheet for these because this just doesn't make sense for how she's played. I totally agree, right? Sure, you're increasing a shit ton of her AP, but cutting her AM is going to force us to change her AM disc, right? And at the same time, the fact that they increase the conversion of crit rate to build up just feels like you're gonna build her massively crit, and the anomaly is going to be an afterthought. And at that point, couldn't she just be a attacker, right? Right. That's bad. So Kaku will become necessary with her to help out build up Frost. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? So Kaku doesn't fuck with crit or AP and AM. What do you think? Why do you think that? So now let's talk about the Bang Boos, right? This is the Pulliver, I think, right? Our cute little US police officer that just comes in breaking down the door and then shooting over, right? We've got a couple of his informations. So Gulliver, going to be playable in 1.4, an S rank agent, right? His skills are shooting 3 piercing attacks, dealing electric damage and accumulating electric anomaly buildup, right? These are his multipliers, which are insane, by the way. His additional ability, which is when there are 2 or more Section 6 characters in your squad, and you activate the chain attack, right? He hits shocked enemies, and when he hits the shocked enemies, the damage that he deals is furthermore increased by 60%. As you guys can see, his multiplier is already insane, right? And when attacking enemies under non-electric anomalies, instead of getting more damage, he just accumulates a shit ton more buildup, right? So he's really flexible. If the enemy is shocked, in the case, for example, Yanagi, he just deals more damage. If you're playing him, for example, Harumasa, which takes more time to build up shock, he's just going to help out Harumasa build shock up. So it is actually pretty versatile, if I can say so myself, right? The last is his third skill, right? This is the multipliers of the B. We just literally just talk about it. And his last one, right, which is his chain attack, is whenever he shoots one powerful piercing attack that deals electric damage and inflicts massive electric anomaly buildup, right? Crazy damage multipliers as usual, right? The Bang Boos have some crazy ass multipliers. But yeah, pretty good and flexible Bang Boo, actually, right? I was thinking of skipping him, but now that we're gonna get Harumasa for free, and I already have Yanagi, I might as well end up pulling for this homeboy. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. And then we got this little guy that I forgot his name. Looks a lot like Sumo Boo, right? But it isn't. What is his name again? I thought I had his name somewhere. Well, whatever. So his first skill, his active, is when the skill is activated, he charge up and ascend into the aerial state. And during the aerial state, the agent's heavy attack, when the agent's heavy attack hits an enemy, the combat cloth will perform a diving attack, which is him, I guess. It's just probably mistranslated, right? Dealing fire damage to the target, right? Again, in crazy multipliers, a little bit of a longer cooldown though, right? His additional ability is whenever there is an attacker or an anomaly character, which is pretty interesting, right? Again, flexible, right? It only needs one of them, not both, so which is pretty fucking good, right? At the start of the battle, he enters aerial state as soon as the battle begins, right? And the first diving attack of his, so his first big hit, has 240% extra damage to it, right? Extra impact, right? Not impact in the sense of days. You guys know what I mean, right? Just bigger hit, right? Bigger numbers. And his last one, which is his chain attack, he just jumps in the air and continuously strike a wide range of enemies in front, dealing again fire damage. This is a pretty good Bang Boo, right? It's going to be an A rank, but it is pretty useful, right? Pretty fucking flexible, which I like to see, right? The more the flexible the Bang Boo is, better, because then it's worth getting dupes and etc., right? So pretty good. Not gonna lie, but those are the leaks that we have for now. The things that get me the most interested are those changes in the Miyabi kit, right? Increasing a lot of her AP, removing her AM, right? Changing the amount of anomaly buildup on her basic attack, increasing the amount of damage her ult does, changing the conversion of crit rates to anomaly buildup, right? And especially changing her additional ability activation from anomaly faction to support faction. But yeah, what the hell do you guys think about this? Do you guys think this is interesting? Do you guys think that's good? Are you guys excited for those changes? Do you guys prefer if Miyabi was how she was beforehand? What do you guys think? Is it good? No? I think everyone's still pulling for her. If you guys were pulling for her, you guys probably weren't pulling for her exactly for how she exactly plays. You guys are probably just pulling for her because you guys find her cool, or you guys like katanas, or you guys like Yai Blade techniques, or you guys just like think their animations are pretty, right? And they didn't fuck with any of those things. So I guess most people that are pulling her are still going to pull her anyways. But yeah, what do you guys think about these? What do you guys think about the Bang Boos? Especially, what is going to happen with Lighter now? Is Lighter just going to be an all-around replacement for Collate and Laika now? Instead of having the possibility of being the premium team with Miyabi and Bernice? Drop it down in the comments what the hell you guys think. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on my Twitch. I do stream every day, both Twitch and YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye-bye.